Welcome back. Today I am going to attempt a session of Puzzle Rush Survival on chess.com. Usually these take over an hour for me. I will edit it down as much as I can, and then sometimes I'm able to get these down to 30 minutes or so. If you're new to my channel, I'm not a titled player or a chess coach. I'm just a random person who enjoys this game and enjoys solving puzzles, and I hope to get better at it someday. Let's just see how well I can do. In Puzzle Rush Survival on chess.com, once you miss 3, you're out. As long as you don't miss 3, you can keep going, and the puzzles get supposedly progressively harder. Just going to click play and go and try not to waste any time here. There is a timer for some reason. Oh, they took my queen, but that's checkmate right there. Okay. And here I also have a back rank checkmate. And here I have a protected checkmate on g2. This is also a back rank checkmate because my bishop's guarding the getaway square. They'll have to block with their rook, but then I'll take it. Here, what checks do I have? I have a check with the queen. I have a free knight. Let's see, how are we doing on material in this one? We both have a bishop, dark squared bishop. We each have a knight. We each have 2 rooks and a queen. So I think taking that knight just gives me a free piece, because I'm pretty sure I don't have any checkmates or anything like that in this position. I am hesitating because very often when there's a free piece, then it's too obvious and you should look for something else. But this is a fairly low rated puzzle, so it might just be the free piece. I'm going to take it. Okay. Now here I just have a back rank checkmate because nothing's defending that rook. And this is a checkmate over here on h7 because my bishop's defending my queen. Here we have the exact same position except reverse side, so it's not h7, it is a2, but it's not checkmate because the king can move over one, but then I think I'll just drop my queen down to a1. So let's go here and then down. All right, I'm looking for checks. This is the only check that I see. They can't get out of it this way because my bishop's guarding that square. If they block with the rook, that's checkmate. If they go over here to h8, which I think they will do, I think I just pick up the rook for free. But if all I'm getting out of this is a rook, let me count the material first. We each have 2 rooks, a queen, and I have 3 minor pieces, but my opponent has all 4 minor pieces. So I'm down a piece right now. If I check here and they move over to h8 and I pick up the rook, then I'm just up an exchange and I'm threatening checkmate. I think that's good enough. I'm going to try it. Oh, it stopped there. Okay. I'm going to click on that real quick because I very often forget the ones that I get right to go to the analysis board at the end. I just wanted to make sure that after I take this, oh, it's still mate in 7, even if they go here, and it is not, it would not be taking here. If the puzzle had continued, I would have got it wrong because taking this bishop is the next move that leads us to checkmate. Wow, okay, so if I take this bishop here, I'm aiming at the rook. Wouldn't they just take my knight? It says they might. They also might just take this pawn with check. Okay, if they take it's mate in 6 either way. If they take the knight, now I take the rook. That's interesting, but if I had taken the rook first, backing up, yeah. Oh no, it's changed. Okay, now it's very close, so never mind. Okay, back to the whole thing here. Okay, this new puzzle, I am playing with the white pieces. Their king has gotten out of check. Okay, because my queen's way down there. Well, I can check again right here on h3. And, oh, and that's checkmate because my queen will be defending the bishop and my bishop and queen are defending those 2 squares. So I think this is checkmate. Okay. All right, now here I do have several checks, but very few of them are safe. The rook can take me here. Obviously, I would take back, but then I would be down. That's not a check. The king can take me over there and over here. The rook can take me there. The only check where they can't just immediately take my queen is down here on f8. They could block with their queen, but then I would take and they would take back and I would get their rook. So I don't think they'll block with their queen. I think they'll just get out of check, which they can do one of these 2 ways. Either one of which I can come back up here to d6 and check again. Those are the only 2 ways they can get out of that check other than blocking. And after I check there on d6, however they get out of check, I should be able to pick up the rook. I'm going to try that. Okay, oh, they did block with the queen. Well, then I'm going to take it. They have to take back, and then I'll get the rook, and I'll be the only one with a piece. That seems pretty awesome for me. I did not think they were going to block with the queen, but they did. But I think it was going to be up a piece either way. Just the other way, there were still going to be queens on the board. Okay, this one seems pretty easy. I hesitated for just a second, but that's checkmate, I'm pretty sure. I'm just going to do that. Okay. And here I am playing with the black pieces. Let's see. Well, I have a check with the rook, which would force the king, just to make sure they don't have any other legal moves, they would force the king over one, and then I would take this knight, and that would be checkmate? No, because then they would have to block with the bishop, but then I would take that too. But just to be sure, they don't have anything guarding this knight other than the king, and the queen cannot access the correct squares to do any blocking or taking of those pieces. Okay, I'm going to check with the rook on g1. They move over. I'm pretty sure that this will be checkmate after... Wait, hold on. For a second, I thought about going here, but no, their bishop and their knight are guarding that square. The knight is pinned, but yeah, I think I take the knight. I think they have to block with the bishop, and then I'll have checkmate. Let's try that. Oh, it didn't continue, but pretty sure they had to block with the bishop. I do have checks. I have a check here. That is my only check. I do not have any captures in this position because my knight is pinned right now. But after I put the queen here, it doesn't matter, I don't think, how they get out of check. Obviously, if they went to the back rank, I could check them again, but I don't think that's a good idea because they could block again, which is probably what they should have done in the first place. My point is, after I check here, whether they go this way or that way, I can take this rook with my queen. I don't know whether they'll take back or not, but when they do, then I will get their queen too. So then I will have a knight and a rook left. I'll just be up a piece over their rook. I'm going to try that. And take this, and then their queen. Okay, they are going to get my A pawn over there with their rook, but being up a piece should be enough for me at that point. It's not always in real games, but but in an objective sense, it should be enough. This one, I think, is the knight to e2 check because the king has to go back out here, and then I'll have checkmate when I take this pawn. And I don't think they have any other legal move, and then this should be checkmate. Okay, here I have a check with the queen, which forces the king to move over. Then I'll check down here. Their rook will have to take, and then my rook will take, and that should be checkmate. So let's start here, and then check and mate. Okay, they went out of check this way. I don't know if that was their best move. I think I probably would have gone up to h3, but I only have so many options here. Wait, no, it's just going here to f1. That's checkmate. I was thinking about down and they would come back up, and then how would I maneuver my bishop around? No, it's just going to f1. I'm pretty sure is checkmate. This one is a little more complicated. I do have a check. I have two checks, but I don't think that one over there is any good. But knight to f7 is a check. I don't think they would come back because then I would have a discovery through it with this bishop. They could come forward, they could move over, come out this way, and then I would pick up that bishop. I guess I should count material. We both have two rooks and a queen. My opponent has three minor pieces, and I have three minor pieces, although one of them hasn't developed yet. And they also have a pawn getting really close. That's disconcerting. I don't know. I don't know if that's good enough here because of how far advanced that pawn is, but I'm going to try checking knight to f7 and then take their bishop. Let's see, wait. Before I take the bishop, is there anything else? Because I don't have another check now. I'm going to take the bishop over here on h6. Oh, and they moved the pawn forward. Well, it's attacking my rook. I guess I have to move the rook. I only have one square to move it to. Is there some trick here? Because that seems really obvious, and the only way that I can move that rook out of danger, and I might be overthinking it. I think I just have to go to a1. Okay. I'm not sure why the last move was included if it was that obvious, and that's why I hesitated. Okay, here I can take their queen, but very often when you can take their queen, it's not the best move. So I'm going to consider here. Let's look at checks. I have two checks with this knight. Wait a minute. I just realized I have a bunch of pieces hanging here too. They can take my queen, and my bishop and their bishop are looking at each other, so this is unusual. What if I take their queen, and they take my queen, and then I get their bishop? Actually, before I got their bishop, I would take their rook too. I think. Are we even on material? Yes, we both have two minor pieces, two rooks and a queen. Okay, I'm going to take their queen, and they took mine, so I'm going to take here with check, and then take their bishop. Because if I took the bishop first, then they would have gotten my rook. But as it was, I ended up more ahead than I would have in the other order, I think. They have forked my rooks here. It would seem unfortunate, except isn't this just checkmate? Rook 8 to d1? The only way they can block it is by putting the knight back, and then I would take it. So I'm going to play rook a to d1, and they had to block, and I think this is checkmate here, capturing the knight. Do have a check? Oh, and then it's checkmate, isn't it? Because wherever they move down, then that's going to be checkmate. All right, well, I'm going to check with the pawn then. And they'll have to block with the bishop, but this is checkmate. I don't remember checkmates that easy being as high as 1175, but it's also been a while since I've been down at that low puzzle rating range. And they've recently reset the ratings of all the puzzles, so past experience might not be that helpful. Okay, here we are even on material, but they are a lot closer to checkmating me than I am to checkmating them. I could leave my queen here to help defend that, or I could check them. Let's see. If I check the opponent down here on d8, they only have 2 legal moves. Oh, and either way I get the bishop, don't I? Because if they come up to g7, then I would just come back here and check, and no matter what they do, I would get the bishop. And if they went to h7, then I could take this pawn over here with check, and however they got out of check, I would get the bishop. So I think I'm getting the bishop here. Let's try this. And they did go up, so I'm going to drop back right here to d4, and oh, they blocked with the queen. I'm not going to take the queen because then we're still even. I'm going to take the bishop because then I'll be up a piece. Okay. They have just hopped this knight in here. I don't think trading is a good idea right now. I think what's best right now is a pawn fork. I assume they'll save the queen, and then I will get that knight for a pawn. And if they take this one with check, then I just replace it with another knight. So yeah, let's go up here. Oh, they did take that one. Well, I'm going to take it with the knight, as I said, and then they save the queen, and I get the knight for a pawn. All right, very nice. Okay, this one I have a check, but it's not mate because they move over. But then I just drop back one and check, and whether they block with the queen or move the king, then I should get the rook. Wait, how far ahead am I? Let's check material, see how far behind I am. My opponent has just taken one of my rooks here. So they have 2 rooks, and I don't have 2 rooks. And we each have 3 minor, no, they have 4 minor pieces. So I'm down a rook and a minor piece. So it might not just be picking up the rook, because that would leave me still behind. Okay, they move over because that would be their only legal move at that point. I come back to check. And because my bishop is still guarding that square down there now that I've moved the pawn, they cannot move the king. They would have to block with the queen. And then I would check by taking the rook. And because of where their king is and 2 pieces in front of it, they would not be able to move the king because that would just still be in check. So they would have to block with the queen, but my bishop's guarding that square, so that would be checkmate, I think. I'm going to start here. I'm going to drop back 1. They have to block there. I'm going to take the rook and then... Oh, I thought they were going to go there to g1, but they went to f1, which is still checkmate, I'm pretty sure. Okay, wow. Oh, the opponent is moving pawns down. Well, we have the same situation I had in another puzzle just a few minutes ago, except it was on the other side. I'm going to check with the pawn. They have to go back, and then my rook down there is checkmate because my pawn is guarding their 2 getaway squares. Except I think on the other one, they had to block with the bishop first. Once again, the opponent has taken one of my rooks, but they messed up. Well, I have a check here. Protected by the knight. Their queen is not defending that square. That would leave them only 1 legal move. Then I could check. No, I couldn't check there again. I would have to check by taking the bishop. And that would leave them only 1 legal move. And then I couldn't check there because of their knight. Wait a minute. Is that not the best move then? Because that only leaves them 1 move. I could check again over here on c7, but then they can go back, and I take that bishop. I take the light squared bishop and its mate because I have a knight guarding this square. I think. I'm going to take here. Oh, it stopped. I want to make sure I figured that one out because I doubt it sometimes. Go to the analysis here. After I check here, they only have the 1 legal move. Now, when it says I could take this bishop and I would still be doing really well, but the fast path to mate was over here on c7 because they have to go back, and then taking this bishop is checkmate. That's what I wanted to confirm, coming back to the normal section here. Well, I look like I'm in all sorts of trouble here. They've gotten a bishop in here. I'm assuming they took something there. Because otherwise, why didn't they just go ahead and take the rook? Here, I probably don't want to take the bishop because their queen's coming in. What do I have? Do I have any checks? I don't have any checks that I can see. The only captures that I have are that bishop. Okay, well, this one's something else. I'm also not sure that I want to move this bishop anywhere because they have both their bishop and their rook pointed here at g8. And I don't want their rook there while my queen and king are, on the opposite sides of that square. Okay, this one seems really tough for around the upper 1400, 1500 range, but there might be something really obvious that I'm missing that happens sometimes. I mean, I could just move this rook over, but then they take care with check, and that's checkmate. So I don't want to move that rook for sure. Let's see. What was the first thing that I said? That's the only piece I can capture. But it is pointed at their queen, and I said something about this. But they wouldn't do that, I don't think. If I take their bishop on h6, I am threatening their queen. Now, they could take my rook, and I would take back, and when they took my queen, then I would take their queen with check, and then I assume they would get out of check by taking my bishop, and then I would take their bishop. And so I would have gotten 2 bishops, a rook, and a queen, or a bishop, a rook, and a queen. Is that how that's going to play out? Because on each one of those turns, they might do something besides what I'm thinking they'll do. Might screenshot this one for the thumbnail. I don't know if that's it or not. I don't know what else to do, though. We might miss our first puzzle here. Oh, it was that, and they did do that. Well, it's check, so I can't take their queen right now. I have to take this. Oh, they took that first. Well, then I'm going to take their bishop, or I could check them. Maybe that's why it went this way, because it gives me a choice. If I check them, they get out of check. I take their rook, but then they bring this bishop back here, and I don't think I can stop checkmate. Okay, so I take the bishop, and then I'm ahead a minor piece. Oh, okay, because I still had 2 knights left and the opponent just had 1. I think it worked. It didn't go the order that I thought it would, but I think the result was the same. Wow. Okay, I have the white pieces. I am down on material because my opponent has an entirely extra rook here. Oh, which I can just take by checking them, right? Because if they take my bishop, I would get the rook. What if they don't take the bishop? Because my bishop's in danger right now. Okay, what if I check and they don't take the bishop? Then I suppose I could check again. And they wouldn't block that time. They would have to get out of check some other way, but I would still be down on material. Oh, and when they got out of check some other way, I would end up winning the rook. So maybe it's that. Are they in danger of checkmating me? Because one of my moves here might not be a check, like when I end up taking the rook at some point. They can check me down here, but then I would take the knight. I'm going to check with the bishop on b5. Hopefully that's... Oh, that wasn't right. I've missed my first one. All right, I will check the red ones at the end. I wonder what my average is for the first one that I miss. I know what it's really easy to check what your average is for your overall score at the end, but I think it's probably a lot harder to check what your average is like the first one that you miss. Like, you know what I'm saying? How far you go before you miss one. This one seems pretty obvious. I just pick up a knight. Am I really far behind on material? Yeah, kind of. They have 2 rooks for one of my minor pieces. Well, no, right now they have 2 rooks. They're just up 2 rooks because we each have 3 minor pieces. But once I take the knight, they'll still be up. But they would only have 1 legal move. And then I would want to check them again, but my knight's in the way. So first I would check with the knight on c3, which would force them into the corner. No, they might take with the bishop. If they went to the corner, I would have mate. But if they took with the bishop, then I could check here with my light squared bishop, which would force them into the corner. And then I would take with my queen, and I think that would be mate. Maybe I'll use this one for the thumbnail. I don't know. That's a lot of arrows. I'm going to take the knight. And they did go there, so I'm going to check here with this knight, and they took. Now I'm going to check with this bishop. Oh, I forgot they could block with the bishop. Well, I'm going to take that, and then when they move over, I'm going to take this bishop. I think that's checkmate. I'm surprised I saw it, honestly. I have a passed pawn. I could push it, but then I suppose they could go after it. Or what if I checked and then pushed the pawn? Do I have anything else? I mean, that's my only check, isn't it? No, I mean, obviously I have a check here on e5, but I'm not going to check on e5. What about checking on c7? What do they play? They can come toward the pawn, but then, as I said, I would push it, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to play. And that might not be the right first move. I don't know what else to do. And it's been more than half an hour for me, so I am getting a little mentally fatigued here. They did go toward the pawn, as I said. All right. Well, I can protect the pawn and pick up one of theirs, but then I assume that they're going to check me and pick off one of my pawns. Or, wait, I think what I said originally was that I would move this pawn forward to protect it, but then I don't know what they would play. But what if I just put the queen right here on f7? I think that only leaves them 1 legal move. And I would come back to f5. No, I wouldn't. What would I do then? I wouldn't advance the pawn because their queen is there. If I did come back to check on f5 and they went around, then I would take their queen and they would take it and I would go with the pawn? Is that what it is? We're going to play kind of a ring around the rosy here? Maybe. Oh, I guess. Well, I'm going to come back here. Hopefully that's right. And then take their queen and then move with the pawn. Oh, wow. I'm pretty proud of myself for figuring that one out. I don't know if you can tell. Their bishop has pointed at my bishop. Should I take the bishop for the bishop or should I take the rook? I want to take the rook. Or what if I just checked down here? It's not mate. They can't block with the bishop, but they can block with the queen, and then I would take it. I think that's mate. I'm going to try that and take the queen. That was a pretty sorry, it may not have been easy for some people. It seemed like a very easy mate in 2 to be rated that high, especially after some of those that seemed really difficult. Okay, only one good move in this position. Well, it's not moving my king. Let's just do process of elimination. My king cannot move legally. Their king is guarding all these squares and their pawn's guarding those 2. So it has to be one of the pawns. Well, again, let's do process of elimination to figure out which pawn it might be. I have neither the brain power left nor the time to figure out which one of those is right, so I'm just going to push a pawn and go, and we'll see if we can maybe solve a few more puzzles before I lose out here. I can check with the rook. I can check with the queen. Not there. I can also check with the queen over here. What does my opponent play? If I check with the queen down there on b7, oh, they just come back this way, and then when I check with the rook, then they get away? Okay, but my queen is in danger right now. What if I check with the rook first on d1? They can't go here or here because of my queen and bishop, so that would leave them 2 legal moves, besides blocking, which I could just take if they blocked. 2 legal moves. Why in the world would I think that d8 was a legal move? My rook would also be pointed at that. That leaves them only 1 legal move. Okay. And then I could put my queen up here on e6, and they couldn't come over because my bishop's also guarding that square. My rook would still be cutting off this, queen hitting there, so they would have to come out. Then I could put my rook back over here on b1. Queen's hitting this as well, so they would have to go to b7, and then I would bring my queen over here, and that's mate. That seems really complicated. I don't even remember all of that, but it starts with the rook, so let's try that. Oh, I did all that and it stopped? Oh my. I said I don't have time or energy, but my curiosity has won out on this one. After that, I said they had, okay, well, I said that they could block with the knight, but they wouldn't. So other than that, they only had the, wait, it's a mate in 1? That's a mate in 1? They should have done it then. I would have missed that so hard. It's not my only winning move. I could do what I said, which it leads to a mate in 4, but I could just take the rook once they go down there, and that's checkmate immediately. Yeah, that's why some puzzles should keep going to, see how badly I would mess them up. Okay, here, they've pinned the knight. They have moved the rook over, aiming down through here. They're looking at this. What can I play? Do I have any checks? No. Do I have any captures? Sadly, no. Do I have any threats? I do. I can threaten the queen with this bishop, which is protected by my queen. They do not have safe squares to go to here, here, or here, or here, or here, or here, or here. Actually, that would be a safe square, wouldn't it? Because their knight's guarding it. But I would take with my queen, and when they took back, then I would take with the rook. Okay, and obviously no safe square there. I'm going to try that. Oh, they did take the pawn. Well, that was probably their best move, so I'm going to pick up their knight here, I think, with the rook. Okay, well, good for me for figuring that out. Playing with the white pieces. I'm the only one with the rook. That seems like a pretty good plan. I want to move my king up here so I can checkmate them. Because they're going to promote or something, but I think this is going to be a checkmate. Oh, no, it stopped before I could checkmate. All right. Again, tell me that there was just the one move after that. Am I that bad at seeing other possibilities? Doesn't matter what they do, this is checkmate. Okay, well, what if they did promote here? Yeah, only one move. Why did it stop? Yeah, that puzzle should have kept going. Okay, oh, and this time I have a rook in a very similar position, but they have a whole extra rook and a pawn about to promote. Well, is it still moving the king forward? And then they're guarding the promotion square, so I'm going to move my king again. Oh, it wasn't that this time. All right. I think, yes, definitely a big factor in this is how long it takes, and then how much mental stamina that one has. Today I did not have that much, but I do very quickly want to look at the ones that I missed. Let's play it. What did I play here? I moved the bishop up here. It was something else. Okay, I don't know what else it was. I just wanted to go to the analysis board and see what it was because I don't have the time to figure it out. It says I have checkmate, right? Whoa. It was made in 1. It was made in 1. Oh my goodness. Because my queen cuts off this and my bishop is covering that and my queen also is covering those squares. Did I not look for checks in this one? I did not look for all my checks in this one, but I did have a checkmate in 1. Very nice. Okay, very elementary. This one, I think I just moved that pawn, so it was a different pawn because again, my king has no legal moves. So was it this pawn? Oh, why can't I move? I know it's my turn because they just moved. Oh, do you have to click the play first and let them move their king again? That's weird. Okay, was it this one? Oh, it was. Is it taking back? Or pushing? It's not pushing past because they'll take that and then I'll take that and they'll take that. I don't have any pawns left and it's a stalemate. Okay, well, it wasn't that then. Was it this? Nope. Was it pushing past? No. Was it pushing past over here? It was. Oh, and then I go past over here. Well, then why did they play what they played if I get to go down here and get a queen? Okay, the opponent was way ahead if they had played b6 here, but only b6. It's the only move listed as a winning move for black. I don't know what would have happened if they'd played one of the other pawns. But if they'd played b6, it says I would have taken, they would have taken, and then I would have played a6, and then they would have played king to c4, which allows me to take this pawn, but then they would just go eat my pawns and have 2 passed pawns. But instead they played this, which gives me a winning advantage if I play b6. Okay, so I played b6 and they took here, which allowed me to get a queen. Because I said here they had, 4 possible moves, right? I mean, I guess they also could have moved their king. But I figured they wouldn't move their king because then I would take one of those pawns. It does say that their best moves are taking with one of the pawns, but not pushing past. Okay, I think the reason that they wouldn't push past is because I would take the one that they didn't push with, right? Or if they pushed this one, I would take that one and I would be ready for promotion. So they basically have to take. In the puzzle, they took with the A pawn, but it says they also could have taken with the C pawn. And again, I only would have had one winning move, which would have been pushing A6, which was also my winning move in the puzzle. And it doesn't matter which one they take, I'll have a passed pawn. Because if they take my C pawn, I'll take their B pawn. And if they take my A pawn, then I'll go past. Wow. Okay, so retry. It was B6 and then A6, right? It was A6? No, I played A6 after the thing. Here it's C6 because if they take, this one goes past. And if they take over here, then this one goes past. Okay, so C6 and then A6. Okay, wow. All right. I mean, I think I understand it, but that seems way above my pay grade for like figuring it out during a game. It's different to understand it once it's been shown to you, but to be able to figure out in the middle of a position, I don't know. Honestly, I thought I was trying for a stalemate. Okay, and in this one, I think I moved my king, but it should have been moving the rook. That was, again, it's not going to let me move until I click play. Okay, even though that was already shown on the board. Was it moving the rook? It was not that. So the 2 things that I thought of was definitely not. Okay, was it moving the pawn then? No. What other choices do I have? Well, because this pawn can't move. I wouldn't want to move my king backward. That pawn can't move. So it's either the G pawn or the rook or the king forward. And it said it wasn't the king forward, right? Okay. And it wasn't this forward. It wasn't this here. So it was either the king back or the rook somewhere else. Was it sacrificing the rook? No. Okay. So was the king back? What? Was it checking first? It was checking first. And checkmate? Oh my goodness. Okay, what I failed to see in this one was that their king is severely restricted due to this pawn. My F pawn keeps the king from getting off the H file. That's what I didn't see. And right now the king has a choice if I don't take that choice away. But if I do take that choice away by checking down on F8, then the king only has one option and I push this other pawn. Okay, I understand it. This one was easier than the last one in my opinion. Wait a minute, here it says that was rated 1920, but when I go over here it says it was rated 1748. Okay, this one said 1745, but it was, okay, and it was rated a little higher than that over here. And this was rated 1509, and it was rated a little lower, and that's interesting. That's interesting that this one that says 1920 is only rated 1740 something. But it seemed easier than the one that was rated 1740 something. Yeah, I'm out of time. Thank you for spending your time here. Let me know how you're doing. I appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.